really do. You're a 21-year-old punk fucking kid. Grandpa's given you everything all your fucking life. You've never had a car payment, a house payment. Everything you live in was given to you by Grandpa. You fucking don't know what it's like to work for a fucking living like I do, to bust my fucking ass and do what I do. And you know what, Shawn? You fucked me, and that's the way you got it. But you know what? Your grandpa's money will run out someday, and you'll have to feast for yourself. Get a fucking job, you piece of shit.
Welcome to Behind the Smoke Podcast, Barbecue War Stories. My name is Shawn from Cali Comfort Barbecue. We are recording live in Spring Valley, above the butcher shop, here with my man, Derek Marceau from Valley Farm Market. How we doing, my man?
Doing fantastic. Fantastic, man. It was an awesome weekend. We got done. We survived our event over at Cali Comfort, and it went great, man. I was really, really excited.
It was really humbling to have a barbecue festival, this amateur event that we've been doing for 8 years. Really, like you said on the last podcast, the anniversary of our friendship. To have that many people in the community come out and be excited about tasting the amateur barbecue team's food, to dance with Tony on the stage, to, go and try people that have been on this podcast like Corbin's Barbecue, Brazen Barbecue. It was really, really humbling to celebrate Spring Valley the way that we did on last Sunday. Yeah,
it's really exciting to see the people come out, like you said, and it makes me happy that we have this platform to give Spring Valley something to be proud of. For so long we've had, there's just no, what do you have here? There's really not much. It's an eclectic group, and we can bring them all together and do it. And man, the community came together. Everyone supported it, came out. Hands down, the biggest crowd we've ever had in the 8 years. People just excited about it and the momentum that we're getting with it. The teams coming up and just saying how excited they are for next year. I don't think there's anything that makes me feel better than when someone comes up and says, Derek, I can't wait for next year. Thank you for what you guys are doing. And it's not a Derek or Shawn thing. It's a community thing. It's us together growing something. I'm just proud to be a partner.
It's really, really exciting to, raise money for organizations and training, have Shane and his team come out and, they're helping mentor kids that are at-risk youth. And, to have the Del Mar Barbecue State Championship, that professional event, and this event to raise funds to help these kids out. You're making a huge impact.
Yeah, that can be a selfless job too, right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes you think about, helping these young kids that don't have anything, and there might not be, some of these kids might not say the thank yous and everything, but to do those things, it's just such a selfless act for Shane to be doing that. I love the guy already, and for what he's doing, I just love him even more.
Absolutely. In this podcast, it's a business and marketing podcast, and we talk about barbecue and all
food
and lots of food and all the opportunities that barbecue, all the doors that barbecue has opened up for us.
It's silly.
It's on a weekly basis. Every Friday, we get to publish, a new episode. We get to interview people that are doing big things, people that are amateur teams, other restaurant owners, people that are trying to scale their business, people that are in sports entertainment. We're so humbled to be sitting across from our guest today, and
this is insane.
Scott Heath, the president and general manager for Fox 5 San Diego. To think that a butcher shop owner and a barbecue restaurant owner,
who would have thought, right?
would be able to pencil in.
Got him.
Get on the appointment.
Hey, Corey, go lock that door real quick. He can't run out. But welcome, Scott. We appreciate you taking the time out and making it down here.
Thank you, guys.
So Scott, let's talk about how you and I first met, just to give a little context to our listeners.
Sure. Well, Shawn obviously is an amazing human being and has a knack for making some very tasty food. And he introduced himself to our folks at Fox 5. And Shally and Raoul, our morning team in the morning, Raoul comes over and says, hey, do you know Shawn at Cali Comfort? I said, I don't know him personally, but I've had his food, and it's amazing. And so we met through Fox 5 and you coming out and being on the back lot, being on the morning show. But where we really connected was with both of our interest in hockey and supporting the local San Diego Gulls franchise. Matt, whoever is the president of the Gulls, introduced us, and we had a chance to travel a little bit together, play some golf together, but more importantly, sharing the opportunity of growing out both of our businesses and letting people know that, you know what, there's a lot of great food here and a lot of foodies, a lot of great restaurants in little different pockets, North Park. You can go up and down the beach area, certainly the gas lamp, but right out here in Spring Valley, some of the best food you're going to ever eat in your life. And Shawn and I bonded, and we're partners now. We try to embed him in every opportunity that we can to help grow his business and let people know that may not know where you guys are located and to come out and try the food. He's also inside the Valley View arena, so if you go to the Gulls game, you'll be able to try his food out there as well. So it's a pleasure, and I just met Super D this morning.
That's it, man.
Brother.
Now we're already buds.
Yeah.
Like I said, lock that door.
Yeah.
Make sure you can't get out.
So I come from Oklahoma City, where there's a motto that says that if it's got 4 hoofs and a tail, then it needs to be on a barbecue.
I like it.
My uncle, who's an attorney, big man, 6'8", 320. He for all the years I was growing up, he always had a trailer hitch on the back of a Cadillac. And the guy drove a Cadillac because he had his own smoker, and he would smoke it. And there's an old man, Schwab, that lives out in Oklahoma City, and he's a hog farmer. And today Schwab meats, if you've heard about them, are Schwab hot links. We grew up eating Schwab hot links, and you know, there's not a lot of tri-tip out in Oklahoma. There is now, but back in the day when I was growing up, there was not a lot of that. It was ground chuck, it was steak, it was porterhouse. And oddly enough, back in the 70s growing up, the butchers there were cutting tomahawk fillets, which are popular now, and you see them in all the fancy restaurants. But back in the day, they were still cutting it that way. I grew up in Oklahoma City in Yukon, Oklahoma, which used to say on the water tower, home of the 1977 Girls Championship volleyball team, 1978 Boys AA football. Now it says home of Garth Brooks.
There you go. Nice.
And Garth was on my football team along with his brother Kelly.
Is that right?
And they're good people.
Get out of here.
That is
He
awesome.
said, I mean, I've met him a few times, and man, just a very humble man.
Yeah.
We sat and talked for a little while. He's just a good, down-to-earth guy. We talked, even though I'm a Kansas State guy. It was,
he lives up in Talala, out by SDSU, or by Oklahoma State University, and he lives out in Talala up there. And his mom and dad were living in Yukon.
Yeah, so, I know. There's been a few times where he's been on the sideline when we were playing. He's
a good guy,
good dude for sure.
Yeah, but thank you all for having me, and I love what you guys are doing. And it's all about, you know, growing people's businesses is a very complicated thing. You know, especially. A lot of people inherit businesses from their families, and they don't understand what they're doing, and they run them into the dirt. There are those that bump into things at night, right, and don't know what they're doing, and then they figure it out, and those are my kind of people. I'm bumping into things in the middle of the night. And all of the wrongs make a right at some point. But you know, I've always said to my kids, and I say to all business owners that, you know, it's not the what that you do, it's the why, and that's the hidden value proposition in everything that we do. Yeah. With the simplest of businesses to the most complex of businesses. And being in the television industry, you know, we always have a motto that, you know, what is it that you actually do? Well, we make good TV. Okay, but what do we really do? We try to understand people's pain. You know, how to grow people's businesses isn't about making the next bucks or making a sell. It's about, you know, seeking first to understand before you're understood, and finding out where people's obstacles are. How do you get from here to there, and what's keeping you from doing it? And I always like asking people reverse negative questions, which is, why do people not eat at your restaurant? You know, who's your competitor and why? And how come people don't come back? Whether it's retail or restaurant or not. Those are all practical questions.
That's a great way to think about it, because sometimes it makes you look in the mirror, right?
It's easy to talk about how much great food you are and the great service and all the things. What do you do wrong?
Right.
You know, it only takes one bad apple in your organization, whether it's a server, a waiter, you know, a person that's associated with you, to create a bad vibe or be negative in any way. And look, we're not perfect. No business is. The biggest of businesses are not perfect. And they have infrastructure failure constantly. So it's great to be here, and Shawn, you're just a wonderful person and a new father.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. New father.
I tried to warn him what he was getting into, and
you did.
There's no book that could teach you what's going to happen. It's you just got to kind of go through it, and he's doing a great job, man. It's exciting to see when.
Well, my wife is the real hero, and
don't kid yourself. I mean,
I'm not kidding myself, but it is truly humbling to have, your wife and my wife come out to the barbecue events that we do, because
nice?
it takes a lot to bring a 4-month-old out into a crowd of people.
Sure. You had him at the Gulls game 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. He was out at the Gulls game, but it's given us an opportunity to just really love life, give him the opportunities and the exposure to things that, my grandfather did for me. If it wasn't for my grandfather coming from a village in Bulgaria and working his way through to become a medical doctor, and he gave our family all kinds of opportunities. And for us, we're just lucky to have the opportunity to do that, know. So tell us a little bit about how you got from Oklahoma to San Diego.
Well, I came out when I graduated from Yukon High School. I did not want to go to the University of Oklahoma. Nothing against them, but everyone in my family had gone to the University of Oklahoma, and I had an interest in TV and film. So I decided I was going to head west, and I'm a football player. So I decided, well, I'll go to San Diego. Randomly picked San Diego, and I came out, and I do not come from a family of money, so I was adopted. So I never had a father, and my mom, Betty Lou, God bless her, greatest woman in the world. She owned a couple of dance studios. We moved around quite a bit. And she did not have a lot of money. And so I can remember leaving to go out to San Diego to start school and my life. And my mom pulled me aside and gave me $100. And she packed me a shoebox that had foil in it. She put in 2 boiled eggs, bread and butter, and 3 pieces of her famous fried chicken.
Really?
And I'm like, that's it? That's it? That chicken was gone before I left the county line. And I think I spent the $100 on my first tank of gas and beer.
Yeah.
And I took off and arrived here and walked on at Grossmont Junior College and played football at strong safety for Jack Miyamoto, who was the coach at the time, and worked odd jobs. And I actually lived in Lemon Grove. That was my first place I lived in. I went to Pacific Beach, loved it. And after about a day there, I'm like, I can't afford this. I have no money.
Right.
So I lived in Lemon Grove, and then I eventually moved around. After graduating, I walked on to San Diego State, and I went on to San Diego State and worked, played football there, worked at the Daily Aztec, and got out and thought, okay, great. I got a college degree, put myself through college, went knocking on doors. Everyone said, you don't have any experience. I'm like, well, yeah, I do. I mean, I wake up every morning breathing, so I have experience in life.
Sure.
And that's interesting. And I got a job at a radio station, 91X FM. And I worked there.
That's my jam.
Yeah. I worked there for 2 years, and then I got a job at...
What were you doing for him?
I was an account executive selling advertising, and about 3 weeks onto the job, I went to my boss and I said, are you guys going to train me? And the guy said, what do you need training for? I said, well, because I'm like making up lies and telling people stuff. And I don't think it's right. I mean, I'm bringing in money, but I don't think it's right. And and when I didn't get the training, it dawned on me right there. It's not about making $1. I mean, it is. I was hungry. I didn't have any money, but it was about learning and listening to people. And it's a one-to-one conversation about what's not happening, but what should be happening and what you want to have happen on the long tail of your business model. And I wasn't getting the feedback I wanted. I wasn't getting the personal training that I wanted. So I decided I'd pick up some books and read them myself. At that point, I really wanted to be in television, so I went to KTTY. It was a minority-owned license that went on the air in September 26th of 1985, and in January of 1986, I joined the company. So 4 months after they got the license down in Chula Vista, I joined them as an entry-level account executive. And after about 3 months on the job, my general manager kept calling me Steve. And I said, yeah, that's a really great name. That's my brother's name.
Right.
My name is Scott. And I realized that I had to take the bull by the horns, and no one was going to train me. No one, it was just go out, talk to clients, get their money, bring it back. I'm like, what about the results? What about what they really need?
Right.
And he said to me, it's not important.
You were trying to create an experience.
You basically you need to bring the money in. I'm like, yeah, but I think the money would grow if we had a better understanding of how their business operated.
Sure.
What makes their clock tick.
You also get a longer term client.
You get a longer term client. You get repeat business.
You get a client that's willing to refer you to other clients.
Yes, yeah. And it's a conversation, and most people would share with you their mistakes. And, I always say the fumbles in life get us closer to the goal line, right?
Yes.
In my opinion, because we learn from them. And we learn how to hang on to the ball a bit longer than those that don't learn from those mistakes. And so I did a lot of understanding and went through a lot of my personal training of myself. And I've been at the station 31 and a half years. And in that particular period of time, I worked my way up through the ranks of a local sales rep to senior, to a national sales manager, local sales manager, to general sales manager, director of sales, vice president, to the president. And during that reign, I decided that after learning as much as I could, I went online and took courses on how to become an electrician, how to become a plumber, how to open up a restaurant, how to open up a car dealership. And I wanted to learn the back end way of how people. So when I came to them, I could talk to a furniture store on the turn of merchandise, and I could talk about the gross and the net profit and where that money comes from, and the churn on the inventory and the loan on the bank and the cost per square foot of the inventory. I ended up writing 36 training modules and selling them back to Tribune, and then going to all 43 of the TV stations for a 3-year period and implementing a training program within those different business units.
So you created what you didn't have.
I didn't have. And in New York and Chicago, I'd go out to the different boroughs in New York. I'd go to Philadelphia. I'd go to Boston. I'd go to Dallas. I'd go to Houston. I'd go to Miami. I'd go to all these different cities, and I would go learn conversations and go on the street cold calling with people to implement the training modules to understand. I can never forget being in Harrisburg. So I walk with this young lady to an appliance store. This guy comes over and says, "May I help you?" I said, "Yeah, my name is Scott, and I'm with Sheila here, and we work at Fox 40 here, and I'm a consultant. And do you mind if we have a chance to?" He said, "You know what? I'm busy right now. Can you come back tomorrow?" I said, "First, we came back. Let me understand." He said, "Tell me all the things about the TV station." And I said, "Well, we're happy to do that, but what I'd like to first do is understand a little bit about your business. When did you start? Who is your customer? More importantly, who's not your customer? And who are you selling to?" And the guy opened up and told us everything we needed to know, but 2 things. And I didn't really understand who his core customer was. And he basically said, "To see the lady standing over there?" She goes, "Yeah, that person's a Mennonite." I said, "A Mennonite?" She goes, "Yeah, a lot of Mennonites live in this area, and they're one of our key customers." And who is the other customer? That person standing next to there, and they're Amish. I said, "So Mennonite and Amish, okay. What percentage of those people buy your goods and services?" Like 80%.
Wow.
Like, excellent, that's good to know. And as we went all through it, he goes, "And by the way, neither of those watch television."
Right.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah. But no.
But did you see an opportunity there?
We saw an opportunity for digital.
Yeah.
Because they're using phones, and there was digital assets in play. And eventually that TV station ended up doing a digital campaign with that particular business owner. But I think, like you guys are business owners, and, you might run into a lot of people that don't take the time or the interest to want to understand how your business works. And all of us, including myself in the TV industry, learn on a daily basis from all of the mistakes we made.
Sure.
No, that's great. I know Shawn, really helped me with something too, where people are coming in trying to sell us something or something.
Sure.
If they don't take just a little bit of time to do some due diligence on what we're doing, we won't even give them time of day. I mean, Shawn will forward me some of the emails he gets, and his responses are pretty hilarious sometimes.
Well, I'm trying to teach. I'm trying not to be, not trying to attack the salesperson for not having the proper training, not having the proper training. They're told to send a template email, through LinkedIn or through our website, that tells me why they need 15 minutes of my time and it's going to save my business this much money.
It's impersonal and it's unprofessional.
There's a different way to do it. And the world that we live in, it's so exciting because it's not a secret.
No.
It's not a secret. We're publishing on a regular basis on our Facebook page, on Instagram, through our podcast, exactly what Derek and what we care about.
Sure.
What we care about is a long-term relationship. Right. And that long-term relationship isn't a transaction that's just going to help them hit their sales quota. And I think those are the things that, it's so refreshing for us to meet people like you that are leaders in your field, in television, to go out and take the time that you do. Because when I went with you to San Antonio with the Gulls, first of all, the fact that a barbecue restaurant was with Fox 5 and Cal Coast, on the corporate, trip was humbling to say the least.
Sure.
But to
we're all just people with the same commonality of serving our community growing our businesses and understanding our faults so we can capitalize on them and be better.
Yeah, and when you take the time though to learn about other people, and what I always remember about you is you were so fascinated with everything and everyone about San Antonio. I mean, you left for 5 minutes from the group and you came back with 16 different stories about what had happened, who you had run into, and what kind of crazy hat they were wearing and why they were wearing
amazing history and story. I couldn't get enough of it. Yeah, I couldn't get enough of the history.
But it's a thirst for knowledge, and that thirst for knowledge reminded me of my grandfather, and I'll always remember traveling with him, and he would. When I was a kid, I was always upset when he would stop and pick up pamphlets. It was stupid. It was, just pamphlets from the hotel. And I'm like, why are you getting that? And he wanted to read every single thing because he didn't want to miss out on life. And because he was willing to do that, he probably went to these off-beaten paths that people would never go to.
Right.
But he was willing to read. He was willing to ask questions. And he was always in the front, always in the front of the tour, always asking the most questions. And when you're a kid, like I said, at points I was embarrassed until I became older and I realized, there's a reason why. There's a reason why he's so inquisitive, and the reason why he's 84 years old and he still wants to learn.
God bless! What a great that's a great story. Yeah. Good for him. Good for Grandpa.
Good for Grandpa. Good for Grandpa.
It's a good number too. Yeah.
Well, in teaching those things, because I think that's important for kids to understand that you never stop learning.
Right.
Sometimes people are telling you, you go and do your education. I've learned more in my life in the last 10 years than I did before then, I mean, just understanding, but I wasn't as open to learning as I am now.
I think all of us were that way.
Yeah. I mean, just being able to be open-minded about, I don't know everything, and it's humbling and it's exciting to not know and then to learn and to get everyone's different perspective. That's why, we try not to get too political in here. But when people are they dig their feet in for these ideologies or different things, it's like, man, be a little open-minded.
Be open-minded.
Understand some things and look, and it's not a right or wrong. It's just, things are just different sometimes, and accept them and love people. It's okay. Right. It's not.
It's really funny you say that. I think a lot of us, including myself, I think you come out of college or you're younger, you're in your 20s, and you have different goals. You're not thinking long term. You're not thinking business ownership. You might be thinking dating. You might be thinking your own personal appearance. You might be thinking whatever, right? And I think as we get older, our minds open up to more feedback, more examination of our own faults. And how we can become better or help people get to be better. At least for me, I think so.
Absolutely.
And I agree with you. And I hate people that just can't open their mind.
Right.
I always tell my kids every day. I said, when you look in someone's eyes, you see their heart, soul, and mind. Yep. And there's only 2 types of days in the world. And I've been saying this for years. I said to you in San Antonio that there's only good days and great days. People said that's not true. Businesses fail. People get sick. You have divorce. I said, did you wake up breathing?
Right.
It's a pretty good day. It can only get better from there.
You're absolutely right. I mean, tell us about what happened when you got appointed president. Was that always the goal?
That was not always the goal. The goal was to I like to enjoy my life, right? So the goal was to make good television, be able to see where the next turn would be in television. It's not just just understanding clients' needs as it pertains to television advertising, but it's the next step, which is digital. And so I would say one of my biggest goals when I was appointed was to take the digital and move it to the next step with the team that we have in place and to grow that. So about 4 years ago, I would say 3 years ago, actually, we had about 89,000 Facebook friends. We're pushing 320,000 now. We had about 27,000 Twitterers. We have 167,000. We produce over 40 Facebook stories a day. We have 489,000 video views a week of our news being streamed. It's a conversation of one-to-one and one-to-many. Yep. And people are living on their phones and their behavior patterns are changing. And while television is here to stay because we inform and we entertain, and I always say to our news people, we're creating news that looks like you, it feels like you, that's got street cred and groundswell. right? It's so San Diego, so Fox 5, and we need to engage with the people so it's a one-on-one conversation. And so the main goal there was to grow out the digital aspect and give local businesses an opportunity to connect with those people that are connecting with them, to tailgate on the back end and go along for the ride, so we can actually help promote their goods and services, regardless of the size and scope of their industry. And that has been a difficult proposition to fulfill, but we now can see that as we are in the middle of the long tail of that value proposition, it's getting better. It does have groundswell. It's got lots of street cred. And it helps when you have a lot of folks on property. Our digital sales manager, Mike Martin's a smart guy. He gets it. Our sales leader, Kelly McMacken, who I think you've met, these guys all get it, and so it's all about seeking first to understand before being understood. And we want to go out and find solutions that make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then I don't want your money.
Sure.
I want to be able to genuinely grow your business. And a lot of times people don't have a game plan.
Yeah.
It's like, you walk into someone and say like, hey, we want to buy some advertising. Like, why?
Yes.
What do you intend to get out of that? And what's your long-term game plan?
What do you think are the biggest challenges and hurdles that you've had to face in traditional media, being a television station, when it comes to digital? I mean, one of the things that we talk about is we love the digital aspect because it's not overproduced. And as a news station, you have so many people that need to put out a quality product. When you get to the digital side, you're allowing your personalities to go and literally go behind the scenes, which for us as viewers to see that, it becomes so cool because the whole podcast is behind the smoke. We want to see how does the magic get made?
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, first of all, about 3 or 4 years ago when I started this quest to want to make sure that the digital side was growing and needed to grow, was that there were just a handful of people that were touching social. And that stopped immediately. So now we are all ambassadors of content, and all 147 employees touch content, produce content, and can distribute content.
I love that.
We had one web producer. We now have 5 that are dedicated to that. But everyone in the news department and everyone on property, including sales, all carry opportunities on their phone and apps to be able to send things in that are filtered and then can make it right onto the air.
Yeah.
As an example, I told my son I collect a lot of Christmas items, and I put about 50,000 lights every year to decorate my home.
Nice.
2 years ago, when the rains and the storms came through, my son was walking out, and I was in the news department, and my son called me and said, "My God, Daddy, look, the wind is blowing, it's pouring down rain." I said, "No, it's crazy." He said, "I'm going to take a video and send it to you." He took a video of all of my Santas out in the front yard, and in the middle of nowhere, the Santa got uprooted and took off and went to the neighbor's yard.
No way.
Kind of like the Wizard of Oz.
Sure.
So immediately I'm like, oh my God, we got to post that.
Yes.
167,000 views.
Unbelievable.
27 minutes.
Unbelievable.
Jeez. So we want to show.
Buy that.
I know you can't buy that. So we want to show people behind the scenes what it looks like to operate a TV station.
Sure.
We shoot our promos behind the scene. We do Facebook. We roll Facebook Live when we're doing it. We want all of our anchors to be engaged with the community and share what is meant to be shared with those people on a one-on-one basis. Shally Zamoroni is the out of all of the TV stations in the United States, she's ranked 5th in the United States of an SEI, Social Engagement Index.
That is incredible.
And so that's a big deal.
That is such a big deal.
And you'll notice that we'll take the jib cameras. These are the cameras that people wear a vest on and they walk around with them. And we'll walk around and show behind the scenes because people are interested in that. And we encourage other businesses to do the same. To grow social, to ask feedback about your business, what we did right or wrong. If you had a good time and you liked the food, in your case, share it with other people.
Sure.
And so the answer to your question is that it was to train all the people and create a mentality and a culture where digital is an equal to the main screen.
Sure.
And before it was the ugly stepchild and wasn't giving a lot of, so we promote it. If you'll notice on the screen, we're promoting it constantly.
Absolutely.
We're sending out alerts constantly. And everywhere we go, you'll even see them on the air reminding people, like we're giving away an Alani trip today. There's the high school signing going on at the stadium today for the young athletes coming out of high school, God bless them. They're all being signed by major colleges. And so Raoul goes, this is great. And they had 3 athletes said, go on our website right now to our app, download the app. You can also apply to win the round trip to Alani, to Hawaii, or you can win 4 Gulls tickets for Friday night. So he's pushing it while complimenting them. So they're constantly drawing the viewer in and then asking them to participate along with them.
Well, kudos to you, because, I mean, change is hard, you know, and especially in an industry like TV where, you know, going digital might not be, you might not think it's sexy. It might not be like the best thing to do. And for you to be
you
the
lose
forefront
control.
and understand.
You lose control.
Well, you have to be vulnerable, right? You have to put yourself out there. And it's like, here, this is who we are. Here's what we're doing. And you know, that's awesome that you were able to see that early and do it, and you know, be at the forefront of people, because, you know, like you said, TV's not going anywhere, but digital marketing's not going anywhere. It's here to stay, and to embrace it is it cool. I mean, I just like your mindset on so many things you've already said today, but it's cool that you're positive and embracing and saying, okay, let's go. We're going to play the game. Let's go play it, and let's do the best we can.
And we, you know, with 560 plus hours of live sports, I mean, we have big assets. But I'm going to bring it back to the goals in a second. With the men's and women's U.S. World Open, those are big deals. We have men's FIFA World Cup in 5 different time zones coming out of Russia, coming this May through July. We have the All-Star Game, the Super Bowl, the World Series, NFL, Pac-10, Big 10, Big 12. We have lots of football and lots of sports, NASCAR, bull riding. We get a lot. But when we brought the local San Diego Gulls to life last February after the Super Bowl, the Sunday afterwards, people were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that." We promoted it during the Super Bowl.
Unbelievable.
So this past game, I promoted in the All-Star Game, and I promoted in the World Series. And we put in spots. Again, we're making creative spots for Matt and his team. And we've asked people to engage in socially, right? Yeah. Go down to the Gulls game and send us back pictures. Sure. So we brought in Aloha Taylor 3 weeks ago on October 13th. And she was out there like a rock star. And she took probably 187 selfies. And we were pushing those back both to the Gulls, to their webmaster, both to our webmaster, and simultaneously splitting. We're posting on Facebook and pushing it back to our website. So that increased an extra 45,000 hits immediately with people that are sampling it. And those are people that are going to then either try to go to a game. If you're a one-off, make it a 2-peat or a 3-peat, take it to the family, buy some food, engage in the other businesses that are in and around that area. And that's our opportunity, is to grow that groundswell with a local franchise. It also helps that the Chargers took off.
Sure.
And no pun intended, bolted to Los Angeles and kind of left us, hanging with what do we do at the stadium, and who do we want to love? And we have the Padres we can love. We have SDSU we can love. Certainly UCSD and USD have, in their own right, have decent baseball teams and basketball teams, and for USD a football team. But hockey is alive and well, and they're to see 12,000 plus people out there sitting back, and they dress up and they're engaged and chuck the puck and all that. So that social groundswell really took off, and someone like Aloha gets it. And they all get it. Kathleen Bade, Troy, all of our anchors. It wasn't either do it or this. It is come along with me for the ride.
Absolutely.
And let's enjoy this together. Right. Well, I can apply pressure, or I can have buy-in from you because this is the direction we're headed. And that's what happened.
One of the most exciting things in the digital world that we live in is when you have companies that have leadership that are willing to embrace what is happening. And when you do that, you're creating all different types of content that would never happen otherwise. Right. I mean, as a Gulls fan, to go down to the game and to see the live feed from Aloha Taylor giving the local weather from Valley View Casino Center, talking directly to Gulls fans about what's happening in the weather. I mean, that's buy-in. That's buy-in on both sides. That's buy-in from Matt Savant and the Gulls. That's buy-in from Fox 5. But all those Gulls fans that are there, they're so appreciative because while the Chargers were here, all the local news ignored them, except for Fox 5. You guys were the only ones that were willing to send a reporter out there to cover the games. And stuff like that goes such a long way for avid fans.
As the general manager, I sent back 3 videos and 19 different snaps that I took of people and asked their permission.
Sure.
Do you mind if I take your picture?
Yeah.
And I'm going to post it on double Facebooks. And
Yeah.
like, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're holding up whatever they were eating, and I would ask
A
them how
baby?
it would be a baby.
Right.
And so. And that's where we're headed now. The engagement of everything we do, brands can be assassinated
Yes.
by social if not handled appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
And there's influencers now that are out there on the peripheral that are really driving real business and a false sense of business growth.
Sure.
So we have to be very picky with what we do when we're doing our digital. We make things now called Videolicious cut downs on all of our news. So, we make good TV, we cut it down, and if the photogs that are out in the field, we tell them to obviously make sure you've got your phone, make sure you've got a GoPro, and after you shoot it, is there another angle of that? And when you turn back around, look at all the people looking at you. Take a picture of that too, because now that becomes Videolicious. That's consumable, yummable video that people will digest at some form.
You have a drone, correct?
We have drones. We were the first station in the market to get live drone footage up and running. But more importantly, we deputized 6 people on the property. They all got their drone license.
That's awesome.
And I do now what's called bump in and bump out shots all over the city of live drone shots. We were out in East County. We go up to North County. We go all over, not just the beach. And we are shooting live. There's an example of it on our website now.
I mean,
Yeah,
back to what you were talking about.
Yeah.
As someone who's lived in San Diego my whole life, the footage that you get from that, I've never seen it.
People didn't see the waterfalls.
Because it's a camera angle
Right.
that I've never seen. All of a sudden, you're going over Freeway 5 and Freeway 8, and you're looking at it at a totally different angle
Right.
than you've never seen before.
Right.
And it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's HD.
Yeah.
What's exciting for me is just sitting back and listening to you guys, and listening to Matt last time. I don't think people understand how much you guys care about what's going on with the San Diego Gulls and how vested. I mean, with you, with Scott, with Matt. I mean, that is just it's so exciting for me to be able to see that, how much you guys care about San Diego itself, about growth, about people, getting people vested, giving them something to be proud of. I mean, it's really, really cool. I mean, just like I said, I'm not in it right now, but I mean, it's really, really cool just to be able to see it.
Well, junior hockey is like junior soccer, like Little League baseball, like Pop Warner football. It just doesn't get the glam.
Sure.
And when you're out there and you see those families, it's amazing to see those families, see those kids chucking the puck, and to see them walking around. And people haven't been out there for a long time, think it's just the same old arena. With the hot dogs and the nachos, and that's not true. The vendors, including yourself, it's amazing the selection of food you can get. It's like I've always said, it's like going to Petco Park. I love going to Petco Park.
Absolutely.
I just love being out there. I love the Padres. We're partners with them. We put on an amazing all-star game with them 2 years ago.
So awesome.
Unbelievable.
And did lots of programming. I brought Steve Garvey down and David Wells and Trevor Hoffman. We put them all in speaking parts and moved them around. And they would all say, we just love San Diego and we love the stadium. Same thing with the Gulls, man. It's pride of ownership, and it's you want to be proud of your city. And anyone who decides to move here and start a company, I want to meet them. I want to understand them. I want to understand the failures that they've been through, so we can learn. People don't like, what do you want to know about what I've done to fail? Because failure is really success, really hidden. And it makes you it's like a fossil. You got to dig down and understand where it came from.
Sure.
Right, to move forward.
It makes you self-aware of what's going on. And for me, I mean, I don't think there's anybody that's harder on me than myself. And it forces, your failures force you to look at yourself and say, okay, what did we do wrong? How do we learn? And again, that makes you have to be open-minded to be able to make those changes.
Well,
what do you consider one of your biggest failures in business, do you think?
And
I'll share with one of mine too, especially in the digital sector.
My biggest failure so far would have to be not capitalizing on our produce program.
Sure. Okay.
Just really, because we are 60% of my business comes from my meat department.
Sure.
We didn't we didn't listen early enough to the people that were wanting the organics, the specialty produce, and we're now switching that. But I think we could have capitalized on it a lot earlier and not lost, because sometimes people are having to make special trips to go get what they want, and we want to make sure that they can get it here.
Bundle it up so they have a one-stop shopping.
Yeah, just not. They're coming in to buy USA Prime beef. Sure, they're going to pay a little bit more for the produce because they're going to want the beautiful, grade A organic, good produce. They're not going to bat an eye at it. Right. Where we might have been a little closed-minded, like, well, that's a little bit too much for the lemon. Right. Well, give them the good lemon; they'll buy it. You know? So that's it. Kind of, I've been the last 6 months really focusing on that. Right.
Okay. What about you, Shawn?
I think probably one of the toughest things for me personally is going from 18 employees to 92 employees, and trying to get to a point where we're scaling our business and we're looking for new opportunities. It's very difficult to get back to where I was when I was that engaged with each one of my staff members. Sure. I've worked really hard to take myself off the manager schedule so that I'm not trying to manage and be an owner at the same time, because that makes me just a shitty manager. And really trying to find a way to get the message to the new staff that are there. I mean, the staff that have been there, that have worked with me and know my wife. But those are challenges that, we work on every day. We work on every single day to be better. To try and let our team know that, they're wearing a Cali Comfort logo, like that's family to us, and like, I can't read their mind, but they can get a hold of me on my cell phone. They can call me, they can email me, they can tweet at me, they can send me a direct message on Instagram. It doesn't matter, but if they talk to me and let me know what's going on in their life, then I can help. I can help talk to managers, I can help talk to schedules, stuff like that. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenges, hopefully as we continue to grow and add new staff. I mean, we can't do it by ourselves. Derek and I have learned just by doing this podcast and by being around people like Craig Dato, who run the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. I mean, we've learned how involved he is on the front end, and then once the event happens, how much he lets his team do it, and how much he pulls away so that he can think big picture and he can allow his brain and his team to do what they do best, and yes, there might be failures, but then he can fix it afterwards. We've learned that just in the last 2 years with just putting on the Del Mar event and this last event. I mean, there were times where Derek and I, we were doing, checking in teams, we were putting signs out to close the road. Now we have a crew that not only do they do an amazing job, but they do it better than we did. So
those are great lessons to learn from. And if you'd known early on, man, those people are going to come in. They're going to pay that extra dollar to get that prime. They really are. And so now, and organics are huge. And now to be able to bundle those products together, I always say would have, could have, should have doesn't get you anywhere. Learn from the mistake, bundle it, and move forward. Showcase it, make it look even better than others. And it is hard to walk away. I always, one of my biggest mistakes I made in my digital was thinking that people would come for a candy cane or a piece of chocolate and engage in my social. It was a horrible mistake, and that comes in the terms of giving away free shit. I'll give you free shit to come over to look at my stuff. That's wrong. Either you are genuinely engaged with my Videolicious, my behind the scenes, my streaming of the news, the things that the drone footage and the things that I'm bringing you, including live news 10.5 hours a day, or you're not. But to win a pair of shitty tickets to something you could care less about was the piece of chocolate or the candy cane, and we failed miserably. So that's one of my own mistakes.
When did you recognize that?
I recognized it when we were spending a lot of money on expense, and we're not growing out the asset, but my sellers are in front of it selling it to people that aren't getting any kind of response, measured response that we were hoping for. Therefore, it's a complete recipe of failure. And so then I said, stop that process. Let's go back and rethink what we're doing. Went with our news director, Rich Goldner, who's a great innovative. He leans towards innovation. I always say to people on property, let's lean towards innovation and seek excellence in the work we do. every single day. And then pull back as more like an air traffic controller and let those people do their jobs and work one-to-one with each other to figure it out and draft it out. And then it's almost like, okay, we'll put out, news alerts. We'll put out traffic alerts. We'll be streaming nonstop our news. We'll make sure we're there when you need us, but not not impose on you. So we have to figure out what's too much and too little.
Sure.
And then create content that's got substance, people that want to engage with it. And that's the one-on-one and one-to-many with the anchors and behind the scenes with all the things that we do, it's like when you go to a city and someone says, hey, you know what, I'm brand new. Can you recommend a dentist? Well, dentist is a personal thing, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to say, hey, I'd like to find out where can I get my information or what's going on with the city. Go to the Fox 5 website. Yeah. We always look at it like that's a referral of the dentist. Sure. It's a personal thing. And we all have our own consumption behavior and likes and dislikes. And so I learned from that the hard way because, giving stuff away to bait them to get over is not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah, no, I think you really can capitalize on the organic people that want to come in. I did it too. I gave away a Traeger barbecue that probably cost me $400, and
but those people that want those organics, they're going to come in here, right? Yeah. That's smart, very smart.
Just capitalize on the people that are really vested in you and give them what they want.
Right.
I think something that's counterintuitive to traditional media is the way that you embrace your talent.
Right.
Embracing your morning host, your nighttime host, and to let them be personalities and to let them broadcast to their fans. Mm-hmm. It really adds this depth to the broadcast that you don't get. I mean, being sports fans, we grew up on ESPN. We grew up on SportsCenter, and having Dan Patrick and people like Chris Berman. I mean, that's why we were so vested in SportsCenter. And now to see ESPN go the complete opposite way, to shave payroll, to cut expenses. Jim Trotter's a close friend of mine, and I love the content that he puts out, but they make it so hard. They make it so hard for us to follow his content and to celebrate who he is as a journalist and the stories that he gets interviewing Jerry Jones. And
I always thought that was kind of weird.
It's weird. It is. I agree with you.
It's really weird when, if you have somebody that you're like, don't make it hard for us.
Them.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only embrace them, but celebrate them. And that's something that you guys do. Is that something that's unique to this market? Or is that?
Well, I think everyone's got their own secret sauce. You have to have talent.
Hopefully, I didn't reveal any.
No. You have to have talent that's got connectivity. Our people, we're all people. Many of us are parents and pet owners. Big corporations don't like it, but I always say, kids and pets come first. If you need to get somewhere, then you go get somewhere. But come back and give it your all when you're here working for the company. But it's got to be natural. If it's forced, it's that candy cane, it's the piece of chocolate that doesn't work. It has to be consumable and believable, and it has to have connectivity, and it has to be organic. And I think that all of them do that. Now on the air, I have a rule of thumb that if it seems like 11 seconds, make it 4. If you're goofing and you're doing things, remember people are trying to either get ready for school or going to work, and they want what they want, when they want it, and how they want it, and sometimes it can get out of control. But so you got to reel them back in. But the secret sauce lies in the connectivity of the individual who feels like that I know you personally.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like I've known you for a long time.
Right.
Sure.
And you become an old friend.
It's a two-way street too, because I mean we're so lucky to have been on multiple different news stations here to promote our barbecue events and our charity events, and there's news stations that we go to where the anchor, they're not engaged, and maybe it's a function of just their job and the amount of news and the the bad things that they have to report, but the best ones, they take the time to just take the 5 minutes it takes just to read whatever the script was, who we are and what we're trying to do. Right. Not only that, but they'll come out and they'll say hello, and they'll find out who Derek and I are and what we're trying to do.
There's nothing
and that
worse
story comes out so much better on TV, because it's not chopped up and
Well, the guys on our staff, they love you guys, and Raoul, you guys connect socially together.
Absolutely.
And, it just has to be genuine, and you have to create an atmosphere. It comes from, both of you being business owners from the top down. It really does. And, if the person up at the top's not genuine, then the product and the service won't be genuine. And that's my belief. And I've run into a lot of businesses where the people at the top aren't very friendly.
Sure.
They may be smart business people, but
Sure.
they're just not very friendly and engaging. And I think that it eventually trickles down to the folks who work in the organization.
You can feel it when things are forced, and that's
Sure.
what we try to talk to, like all my employees. It's like when people come in here, I want them to have an experience and just
Right.
they're happy.
Right.
We're here for them. We're here
Right.
for the consumer to come in,
Right.
have an experience, give them the best, service we can give
Right.
them, the best product we can get
Right.
them, get them out, let them leave happy. They leave
Right.
happy. We're happy.
How many total butchers do you have?
We have 14 people working in my meat department
Okay.
right now.
So you want people to walk in and know at least 10, if not all 14 of their
Absolutely.
names, right?
Yeah.
That's
sure.
a one-on-one,
Yeah.
right? With a suggestion on something right over there in the organic vegetable aisle that will
Right.
complement what you're getting ready to
Absolutely.
barbecue.
No, that's it's important.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you want them to become vested. Right. It's very, very important. Not
Right.
just in the company, but in our employees.
Right.
That makes it. There's nothing cooler than now me taking a step back from always being in the meat
Right.
department to someone coming in and saying, "Hey, can I talk to Charlie, who's now my meat manager?" I'm like, "Good job, Charlie." I mean
Sure.
that means you engage with
Yeah.
that person. Now they know you
Right.
and they want to talk to you because it's always been, "Let me talk to Derek."
Yeah.
Let me talk to Derek.
Charlie should say, "How are you going to cook it? By the way, when you're
Yes.
done cooking it, send me a snap."
Right.
Yeah.
Boom. Send it back
Absolutely.
down to me. Let me see what that
Exactly.
looks like.
Right.
Let me taste it
Right.
through my website.
I think
Right?
that's one of the most exciting things that Derek and I get to talk about is it doesn't just have to be a restaurant and it doesn't have to be a butcher shop,
Yeah.
but any company, no matter what you are,
Right.
you have to, from the top down, embrace digital
Sure.
and embrace it with all your staff. Because if they're not proud of where they work,
right.
that sucks.
That sucks.
If they are proud of where they work and they're willing to tweet about it and they're
Right.
willing to post something on Instagram, the sales opportunities are endless. The marketing
Right.
opportunities, the
Right.
cross promotional opportunities, the engagement opportunities.
Right.
You can have, and it doesn't matter what business you're in.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a recycling company. You could be an auto dealership. You could be an insurance company.
Right.
There's a story to be told. Yes, it might be hard to find that voice, but if you're not willing to let your team try
Mm-hmm. Right.
that voice out,
Right.
because a lot of the social media policies that companies have are anti-social media.
Yes.
Don't post, don't use your
Yeah.
phone. If you flip it the other way
Right.
and you let them with some restrictions,
Right.
obviously
Right.
you're not going to have one of your anchors talking about how
Yeah.
a different news
Well,
station is better
it's-
than yours.
It goes back to that. You use good judgment.
Yeah.
Acts unbecoming of a professional will not be tolerated, and there'll be
Right.
swift and harsh action. But in the spirit of posting life, there's what's more beautiful than life. When it's raining, we send out Shawn, our assistant news director, sends out an email, says, "Send us all your pictures. You, an
Yeah.
employee who lives out there, who have a brother and a sister and a grandma and a grandpa, or the places that you visit, whether it be your church, your school, your soccer, your favorite restaurant, whatever it might be, post that and share it." I'll give you a quick story on a success on digital. Back in 2010, I partnered with Sandy Purdy, who's a businessman who operates with the Port Tenants Association and the Port Authority in the San Diego Bay to bring us Big Bay Boom, the second largest fireworks display west of the Mississippi. I partnered with him, and I decided that I would produce a show for 2 hours at the San Diego Hilton at the Hilton on San Diego Bay, right across from the stadium, Petco Park, and that we would create an atmosphere where people would come out, and there's about 680,000 people to date that go around the harbor, from Shelter Island to Harbor Island to Coronado, to watch these fireworks. And we put on a show, and the fireworks last about 22 minutes, from 9:05, give or take,
During 4th
the
of
barges
July.
during 4th of July. And the first year we did it, the ratings weren't that great, and there was really no social connectivity. I had neglected to think about that aspect of it. The second year we did it, we added some social, but didn't give it our own. It was not a priority, and it wasn't a priority for me. It wasn't a priority at the top. Therefore, it's not a priority on the bottom or in the middle. And the ratings, again, were just okay. The third year, I had gone into an argument, if you will, a business dispute with them. I pulled out, and that's when they all blew up. Glad I wasn't a part of that. And literally, it was Big Bay Boom.
It was
Right.
it was
it
bad. I
lasted,
remember that.
all of like 11 seconds.
Yeah.
We came back, and last year, and the year before, I had made it a priority. partnered with KTLA in Los Angeles, and we simulcast it from Santa Barbara to Tijuana. We then used Dose, D-O-S-E, a company that targets social behavior websites. And we went Facebook Boost, and we went Dose, and put all of our efforts. It is the most watched show west of the Mississippi.
Wow.
And the third most watched television show on 4th of July in the United States.
Wow.
It created a 7.4
amazing.
household rating. And for people that are listening, that is quadruple what CBS, ABC, or even Fox would produce on a primetime show in the evening.
Wow.
To watch fireworks. And there is Kathleen Bade and Raoul Martinez sitting out with all of our anchors, and they're also
Yes.
Facebook Live. They're streaming it. People are we're saluting our military, so people all around the different bases around the world are streaming it because their families are there. And now, Big Bay Boom, because of the social dose that we gave it, the push that we gave it, the love we gave it. People are sending in all their pictures. They're sending in their picnics. They're sending in the
Yes.
things they're doing. And it now is really something special. Besides an amazing fireworks show, we tell a story and we unite families. And it benefits the Armed Forces YMCA.
And you have Matt Savant's daughter. Who
Yep.
is
Matt Savant's daughter sang the Star Spangled Banner on top of the aircraft carrier down on the bay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and she sang it as opening. A little, bless her heart. She just sang
my
from the top of her
goodness.
lungs. And from the opening of that show, people were like, "Oh my gosh, that little girl can sing."
It was so moving
Yeah.
for Rosie and I to watch that, knowing that we had already watched her perform at the
Right.
Gulls game and how beautiful she sang that anthem.
Yeah.
And to see that and just the whole social connectivity part
Yeah.
it's really, really, really exciting to see
Yeah.
you embrace digital. I
Yeah.
mean, digital is a place that it's so exciting, the exponential growth that you can have because of the social share aspect.
If it's done right.
If it's
If
done
it's
right.
done
If
right.
it's done right, and
it's
it's
right.
not
Correct.
forced,
Right.
and it's an organic feel to it. I mean,
Sure.
you know, that's what I need to embrace. You know, is just getting into it, embracing it, being organic, and being vulnerable. And
Yeah.
it's helped us a ton as well.
Well, like I said 4 years ago when we started this trek to really grow out all of our digital and connect with our viewers and our non-viewers, it's very important, and connect with the community. We're putting out, 8, 9, 10 stories a week to Facebook. We're plus 40 a day now with over 500,000 video streams and engagements with San Diegans and people that are streaming it. Even when I travel, wherever you're at, you can do fox5sandiego.com and you can stream the news. But it also helps, that missing notch to where a local business owner would also need help by being able to push their brands over on pre-roll or push their branding and tie it back into whatever else they're doing, whether it is broadcast television or radio or direct mail, or just, one-to-one to each customer on a bounce back. Right. Let's all remember how important one customer is.
Sure.
I always say one bad customer with one bad experience can lead to 10 new customers not coming in.
Sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
And one bad opportunity to piss off or ignore one viewer could be 10 new viewers that don't come your way. So it's the same equation.
Sure.
I think for all of our businesses.
Right.
So,
I think a lot of people don't factor in how loyal people are to
Sure.
their brands,
Sure.
and especially when it comes to their news.
Mm-hmm.
They get used to their news delivered to them by the
Right.
people that they come to love.
Right.
They come to
Right.
love their morning routine of getting that update, and to the point where even if they're not watching it live, it's DVR'd,
Right.
and they'd rather watch, that morning news as opposed to what happened at 7:00 because they're
Right.
used to that.
right. Viewer feedback's really important. We encourage viewer feedback and we get it. And I'll pose this question to you. I mean, in your businesses, do you ever have people that come to you to say, listen, I love what you have, but, we're looking for, and I know it's probably niche, but people that might ask for exotics, like maybe elk or buffalo, or they go down that route. And you find more people these days. And the reason I'm asking that is because more and more restaurants are taking, out on the ledge, if you will, for the foodies, serving to the foodies that are looking for that different adventure. Do you get people that ask for that?
Yeah, the only, the kind of fucked up thing about it is that the commodity elk
Yeah.
that you get. It's still a farm-raised elk, so there's not really no nutritional
wild,
value
right, okay.
to it. I'm an avid hunter. I hunt all the time. I do
Good.
deer, elk, and moose every year. I try to get out
Awesome.
and do some waterfowl hunting. So I try to harvest, and then everything that we harvest out in the wild, we put in the freezer, and I cook it at the house.
Right.
Whenever, if I'm fortunate enough to get it.
Sure.
But, we do get a lot of inquiries about the wild game, and we do have we do have elk, we have antelope, we have, some things that are frozen.
Sure.
But it's a commodity product where it's not a true wild animal.
Right.
And that's
because people are reading the benefits of that,
But you have to you really have to talk to a hunter to go get it yourself. Sure. It's, if you get a farm raised moose, because I go up in Alaska and,
that's cool.
Where I'm hunting.
That's cool. I like that. My brother used to always say, we grew up hunting too. If they fly, they die. If they're brown, they're down.
Right. Yeah. So, the moose that we harvest, it's out there eating low bush cranberries, blueberries, all the great stuff. Where
yummables.
You get these farm raised. It's just going to be eating the same stuff as a cow's. A commodity cow's.
What about ostrich? You guys sell ostrich?
We don't.
Anybody ever ask for it?
I have.
Yeah,
I've had some people.
I've had ostrich.
People want their eggs a lot. Big ostrich eggs.
Yeah. I think Heather did a thing out on one of the farms. About, about ostrich eggs.
Yeah, we did. We used to cook them up in Bakersfield. We'd have a wrestling tournament. We'd go up there and cook some ostrich eggs.
Yeah.
And, I only had one egg, but they're fucking ginormous.
Shawn, you ever put anything on your menu new that failed?
Plenty of times. Absolutely.
Let's hear what failed.
Tilapia failed. When we opened the restaurant, the biggest fail that we had was trying to be everything to everyone.
Yeah.
Just because.
What about catfish or trout?
We tried catfish.
I love catfish, by the way.
A lot of it wasn't the fact that it was fish. A lot of it was the fact that we were trying to do too many things. Once we embraced barbecue and Gene Goycochea came in and started teaching us things, we said we're gonna cut this menu down.
Sure.
We're going to have a lot of pushback because, we closed from Monday through Friday. We used to be a breakfast restaurant 7 days a week. We closed, opened up at 11. People said, you're never going to make it. No one wants to come to dinner in Spring Valley. And we said, we're going to do the best job serving the best barbecue that we can, according to all these quality recipes. And we're just going to focus on those little things, focus on the produce, focus on the recipes and making things from scratch, making it
You really have good potato salad. You know that. I'm addicted to that. I love that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. What Gene taught us was that that too many people try to overdo things and try to put a chef spin on it and make it sexy or trendy. If you keep things simple and you use quality ingredients and simple spices, you can put out some amazing stuff.
Right.
Simplicity is sometimes the key to success.
Right.
People want to overdo stuff a lot, and it's like even my poke recipe, I got it in Hawaii a long time ago, and it's very simplistic thing and all the Samoans and Tongans and Hawaiians come and get this poke. They're nice. It reminds me of home.
Right. Isn't that Gracie right there? That's the best compliment you can have, man. Right there. You did something that tastes like grandma or my auntie did, right?
Yeah, but it's just a simplistic recipe, and I didn't try to overdo it. I see some of these things on Instagram, and they're the pokies, and I'm like,
way overdone.
Way too
keep
much.
Keep it simple.
Those flavors are going to overpower everything, and it's not even going to taste like poke anymore.
Right.
So what kind of advice would you give to people that are in journalism school that want to get into media? What advice would you give to them to reach their goals?
Understand what you want to do. What is it you want to do, right? News is going to be around forever. Television is going to be around for a long time. It may not always be in the form that we're seeing it right now, but it'll be around. Licenses will be there. People are going to create content. People are going to go to be informed about successes, tragedies, sports, happiness, sadness. That's what news gives us. Young journalists today should understand, where they fit in. And if they're not engaged in social already, and understand that a person that reads a newspaper and a person that reads a blog and a person that's going to go on a website, all that news is written and consumed differently. So you can't take it. It's not one size fits all. And we do the same thing. Something that goes on the air is cut down for the web. Stuff that we're going to blast out is completely written different. And for those of us that customize our own news, I got 8 or 9 things every morning when I get done working out or swimming that I'll go through. And all I want are little yummables. I want a paragraph That's what I want. I want to eat it. I want to consume it. I want to know it. And I want to move on. But I want it there if I want to dive in deeper.
Sure.
So those folks that are pursuing that, and they should, know what your craft is, know what you want to do, right? And that can lead to anything. You could become a writer, an influencer. You could become an author and write a book, which I think is excellent for those people that want to dabble in that.
Don't say book to Shawn. He's been honest about writing a book.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my advice to those folks would be, live large, be willing, dare to take a chance.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
learn from your mistakes.
Yeah. Don't be too scared to fail. Failure is, like you said, it's part of your success.
Right.
It truly is. It's okay to fail, man. It's
failure, success, just waiting to happen, man.
Sure. That's one of the biggest things is if you're too scared to start, you're just missing out. You have to start. You got to get after
Corbin
it.
said last time. And what's the best thing? It's like, just do it, man. Just do it. Just do it. Just go out and do it.
Right.
You can just.
If you don't fall down, if you don't have some battle scars, then shit, you're not worth succeeding, in my opinion. Right.
Well, everything we talked about today is going to be in the show notes. We can't thank everybody for tuning in all over the world. We really, really appreciate it, Derek and I.
No.
This is just a journey that to have the privilege of interviewing the president of Fox 5, Scott Heath, and I have become great friends because of barbecue, because of opportunities,
Absolutely.
because of a willingness to do things
Just talking with them, you guys
untraditional.
are very like-minded.
Yeah.
You guys are very like-minded. Just talking to
It's
you
good
today.
meeting you, brother.
It's
Really
great.
is. Yeah.
Well, follow Fox 5 on social, see how they're leading the revolution for the digital age and traditional media, and be sure to come down to a Gulls game and check it out on Fox 5 because it is a sexy production.
Absolutely.
Very,
Very
very
sexy.
sexy
Good,
production.
sexy production.
Thank you very much, Scott. We
Yeah,
appreciate
you
your
bet.
time.
You
We're
bet.
going to get you out of here, and
Yeah.
we're going to see you at the next hockey game.
Thank you all for having me, and good luck and better living through good barbecue.
Thank you.
Thank you.